How are you, mate?
Mate, I'm good. Good. And had a very big week, but glad to be here recording the podcast as always.
It's great. Sorry, I was just sipping on my peppermint tea.
Don't worry, I got my hot chockey in front of me here, so I'll be sipping on that
Yeah.
throughout the episode, no doubt.
And our pressure point mugs, as everyone can see, that's watching on YouTube. So
Buy those now.
yes, but no, it has been a great week. How good are the semi-finals?
Mate, unbelievable football. I think some results we may not have expected. Well, one we didn't expect for sure with the Brisbane win, but great games of footy. I mean, just good viewing all around, and that's what you expect come finals time.
Yep. And you have moved into your new place as well.
Yes,
Officially a homeowner.
Yeah, fresh homeowner now. Got a mortgage on my hands, so I'm
Yep.
going to start spending a bit more diligently. But glad to have moved out. It's a bit new for me, moving away from home for the first time. But me and my girlfriend, obviously Elisa, the marketing manager of the Pressure Point podcast, have moved out together. So exciting times, yeah, very good. Which is it was dampened a little bit though, which is always a shame. You want things to go smoothly for you, but I mentioned to you just before we recorded that first night after moving out, I realized that someone had hacked my Disney Plus account. So it was a real dampener on what was a great couple of days over the weekend, moving in and getting all the excitement happening, and then go to flick on Disney Plus and bang, someone from Spain named Gabriela was logged onto the account and changed everything into Espanol. So I couldn't understand a single thing, and it was a nightmare. But that is all behind us.
What was she watching? Did it say?
Just a lot of kids shows.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
she's made her own profile. I thought if you're going to hack someone's account,
That's
you got to do it on the
outrageous.
low and just use someone else's existing profile.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm watching and I go, I don't remember watching that, I just go, you ignore it. But they've made their own profile and everything. I don't know what they thought was going to happen, but had to do the old log out and, change a password and log everybody out of the account and all that. So,
Wow.
yeah. And then, mind you, I changed all the language back to English. I got to watch a show and I start speaking in Spanish. So then I had to go change the audio back to English as well. I thought it would all happen in one hit, but no, it didn't.
Have you just had you left your login details somewhere on the internet for someone to just use? Because it feels like
Maybe.
she's just done that way too easy.
Maybe this is a given, but I think a lot of people that know me know that most of my passwords are fairly identical. So
Yeah.
that could be a problem.
Yeah.
And maybe it's slipped. Hopefully it's not my bank account, but the Disney Plus is just step one. I better check my Netflix and everything else I may have.
Don't blame the mortgage for your bank account.
Yeah. The mortgage doesn't touch the sides, mate. It's all the money I'm losing through the bank.
Well, probably the bigger news, new digs.
Absolutely.
Your
Yeah,
studio.
well, this is the former bedroom.
Same building.
Same building,
New
just
room.
new room. It's probably an upgrade.
Yeah. Well,
It's our own private room now. We get our own space, our
It
own
is.
furniture. It's all
our
happening
own,
here.
Our own sketches.
Got
as
our
well.
own sketches, our own cutouts. That should be stuck on the wall. Actually, we don't know how to do them professionally enough to do them justice. So we've just got them hanging by a peg at the moment, but we will get those up.
Yep.
No doubt. So
But yeah, all this wouldn't be possible without you moving out. So
no, well there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah,
I did
so-
it. It was a selfless move.
Yeah.
I didn't want to move out. I wasn't ready, but for the podcast, it's
anything for the podcast.
absolutely,
so
mate.
I'm liking it in here. It's
It's different.
It's different, but it feels right.
It felt weird walking in the first
it
time
did.
and not having a bed in here, and well, actually the TV is still there, but
Yeah.
it felt weird. But it's definitely a move for the better, I feel.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. All right, let's get into it. Episode 113 of the Pressure Point podcast. We are flying through our episodes. 113. The 100th episode feels like a long time ago now.
I
When was
don't.
it?
I barely
Mid-year?
remember it. It was
Yeah.
that long ago. Yeah.
When was it? Queen's birthday.
Was
Queen.
it the live
The
stream?
Queen.
I think that's
We
the
did
biggest
it
news
on the
off
last
top.
ever Queen's birthday. It was our 100th episode.
I think yeah, geez, that's something
'Cause
special,
it's
isn't
the
it?
King's birthday next year.
Yeah, well, do we still get the Queen's birthday holiday though, just to commemorate
No,
it?
well, are you sure?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I'm not
I
sure.
have no idea.
I think they're changing everything that is Queen to King.
I have no idea about the monarchy
could be wrong.
or what it means
Yeah.
for us as Australians, other than the fact that we have an extra day added to our long
Which
weekend.
is fantastic.
Well,
Grand
I mean,
final week of
it
all
is,
weeks.
It is fantastic because I think a lot of us needed time to really mourn the Queen and what she meant. No, it's great because it's great. It's a great time to have off. But a lot of people, myself included, the Saturday technically isn't a public holiday. And I know for me, there's still a chance that I may be working grand final day.
To make up for the Thursday.
Well, no, we always open.
On grand final day.
Because it's not a public holiday.
Yeah, right.
So if there's enough work on for that day to justify us opening.
It's just un-Australian though, isn't it?
Well, a little bit, yeah.
Un-Victorian.
I could be wrong, but I'm fairly sure before one of the 2 grand finals I went to when Richmond played, I worked one morning.
Wow.
I could be wrong. I don't. I think I've maybe told myself that I worked to make the story a little bit more, a bit more oomph behind it. But yeah, I may have worked before one of the grand finals.
Wow.
I know I definitely did for the Collingwood West Coast one in 2018.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could be open grand final day, which would be annoying because I don't want the Thursday or Friday off, back for one day, and then have the Sunday off again. It's like, let's just do the 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's crazy to think that they've put another public holiday the day before an existing one.
Well, you think it would be the Monday because I'm pretty sure the Queen's funeral is the Monday.
No, it's the Monday. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why the Brownlows moved.
Yeah, exactly. So you think you would have the public holiday then, if anything, because you want to give people time to mourn, and that's the reasoning behind the public holiday apparently. So let's have it the day of the funeral so people that are actually interested and are actually mourning can watch the funeral.
Yeah.
But anyway, silly decision. I don't know what Albo was thinking, but we're not politicians here on the podcast. We just talk footy.
The coverage of it all is getting a bit over the top, don't you reckon?
Look, I mean, it's probably easy from our point. Like, we're not.
I know,
we're not big fans of the Queen. Not like we're not against the Queen. We just don't really care.
No, and she was 96.
Time was ticking.
She was not far off.
Father Time was chasing her.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much of a shock. I don't want to sound rude or anything, but
I'm not saying we're happy she's passed away.
No,
but
obviously it's massive. It's massive.
Of course,
the Queen's died, but
it's the Queen of England.
The way the news coverage of it all, it's been a tragic accident's happened, something awful.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking to your mum before this, and she was saying how the hysterics behind Diana dying were bigger than this.
That's different.
But that's different because Diana was a shock.
She was tragically killed.
And then, of course, all the controversy and alleged accusations behind the death of Diana, obviously.
Yeah.
Which we're not getting into. But, yeah, that was a different spectacle altogether. She was a young woman. Queen was 96. I mean, like I said, she was...
Serious innings.
Yeah.
Better innings than the majority of the population.
100%. So she's done very well. And, she was a leader for... since just after World War II, wasn't she? Yeah, very long time.
Yeah, long time.
There you go. Long time to be at the top of your game. So, Well,
who would have thought we'd be talking about the Royals on the podcast? But
definitely
here we are.
I don't think I've spoken about the Royals this much
ever.
In general. So,
but let's talk footy
for an absolute royal performance on the Friday night.
Oh, that's not bad.
Didn't mind that.
That's not bad.
The royal red and blue.
Do they have royal in there?
I don't know.
In their theme song potentially. No, you're the theme song king.
I am. No, I can just serenade you with the theme song. I don't know all the lyrics.
Royal blue and gold.
We will always.
Yeah, they do.
Victory.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they do. Well done. Well, I was right.
All right. Yep. Let's talk about them.
Absolutely.
That was crazy.
Well, they've debunked the myth that Brisbane cannot win at the G.
Yeah, of course, in a final.
Absolutely. Well. I mean, of any time to do it, they've absolutely. I mean, go back a few weeks ago when they coughed up the lead to Richmond, and a lot of people were saying, well, they can't win a game like that. They're not going to win a final there. And they've just proved everybody wrong now. Yeah. And they beat Melbourne, who I think they were everyone's favourite on the night.
Yeah. Well, Melbourne were absolutely dominating the first half, really.
And it's not the first time, but they just couldn't get the score on the board.
Yeah.
Which hurt them.
Just kept Brisbane in it, and they just kept knocking on the door, and Brisbane that third quarter especially, they just turned the game on its head. It was good to watch. They played some scintillating footy.
Well, it makes you excited for what they could potentially do prelim final week this Friday night. It's scary. And I mean, you look at this man on the screen here. For those who aren't watching, it's Charlie Cameron. He had 5 touches for the game, but his influence was second to none. I mean, you'd think he was the best player out there almost. And then you look at the stat sheet and you go, oh, you didn't touch the ball 5 times?
Yeah.
Kicked 3 goals, 1.
Huge.
He's just had a massive impact. And they've got players like that don't need to necessarily rack the footy up a lot to have that kind of an impact.
Yeah.
But the biggest one for me was Melbourne's decision to take Brayshaw off Lachie Neale as that hard tag in the first half, which was working. I think Lachie Neale had 9 touches at halftime, potentially, something like that. They've taken him off and just... Oh, the cough is
no.
back.
It's all right.
Two
Just a small
weeks
one.
straight.
Just a small one.
Small one this week. But yeah, and then Lockie Neal just kind of, I think Spargo went to him potentially.
Yeah, but Lockie Neal ended up tearing the game apart in the second half.
No surprise. I understand you'd want to get a player like Brayshaw into the game, but you've also got to realise what letting a player like Lockie Neal into the game could do. And I think Melbourne have the players and the midfielders that allow someone like a Brayshaw to play a tagging role for a game. You don't necessarily need him, doing his own thing as much, albeit Petrarca wasn't 100%, and that was very obvious. What did you think?
I don't know. I think Melbourne have... I mean, there was a similar story the week before against Sydney, wasn't it? Where they started well and Sydney just, dominated the second half. So, to be honest, the whole second half of the season has been like this.
It has.
So,
what does this mean for Melbourne now? I mean, they've gone out in straight sets. They're still going to contend.
Yeah, you can't write them off.
That's not up for debate. They're still going to contend.
Yeah.
But, who knows?
It's a tough one. It is a tough one. You definitely can't see them falling off a cliff, but, geez, a straight set's loss when you're arguably the premiership favourite, the reigning premier, both games at the MCG.
Against away sides as well.
Yeah, exactly. Does that upset you, knowing that, you probably would have beaten Melbourne if you played them instead of Brisbane?
A little bit, yeah.
And then you would have played Geelong.
Been there, done that.
Tigers would have gone all the way.
Oh, look, I think any team on the right night could potentially go all the way this year. That's the thing about this year's final series. Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing we didn't get the chance to play Melbourne at the G. I think at the MCG final we would have been pretty hard to beat, but end of the day, Brisbane beat us.
Yeah, it's true.
They've done their job and they've gone and played good footy the week after. They've backed it up. So, and let's not forget, I mean, it's easy for a Richmond supporter like myself to still be a little bit salty about the game, but that was an unreal game of footy. Yeah, and both teams were really good throughout the whole match. And Brisbane obviously continued that form into this week and knocked off Melbourne, and they're in a prelim now, which has been a bit of a stepping stone they haven't been able to get over.
Yeah. Well, they made the prelim in 2020 against Geelong, funnily enough, but this was at the Gabba, and that was their best chance to win that flag, wasn't it? The Gabba year.
Well, that was it. Everyone was talking about that was their year, 2020.
Now it's been flipped. They got Geelong at the MCG, so maybe
a bit of revenge.
Geelong beat them over there. Maybe Brisbane can beat them here. That would be an interesting story, wouldn't it? But
Geelong out in another prelim.
That would be good.
Just to see, speaking of...
I would love to see Brisbane in the grand final,
Speaking of Kings and Queens being dethroned, just to see Geelong get knocked off that perch they've been on top of for the last 15 years, I think it is.
Yeah.
What was it over the last 15 prelims?
They've only lost
3 or something?
Missed 4 prelims or something.
In the last 15 years or something ridiculous like
Joel
that.
Selwood's only missed 1 final series.
In his whole career.
Yeah.
That's a stat like no other. And as much as it frustrates neutral supporters like us, I think it also is a testimony to how Geelong have this ability to not rebuild, but maintain, I guess, and grow the list they've already got without having to fully rebuild. There's another word I'm trying to find there that they're using at the moment, and it's not coming to me.
They're continually topping up with talent and stars. Really?
Oh, exactly. But there's stars that fit into their lineup as well. I mean, you see clubs go for big name players and it doesn't quite work. But everyone they seem to bring in buys into their culture and wants to come home. And I think it is that come home factor for those that live down on the Surf Coast. So they've done a great job.
And they have their home.
Retain, not rebuild.
Retain. Fancy word, that one.
Oh, it was a big one. So there you go. Anyway, but they've done a great job at that.
Back to the Lions.
Absolutely.
Jared Berry had his probably breakout game of his career last week, and
star
also suspended, and then the tribunal hearing was tonight, and he's off.
Well, good thing we waited a little bit to record tonight, because about 2 minutes before we started, the news came out that he got let off, which is some very good news. Very good news, as you said earlier.
As you can see in the title of this podcast.
Absolutely, some very good news there. But no, he'd be look, I think the tribunal always acts a little differently in finals time, whether that's right or wrong. It's just the nature of the beast. Players are always going to get judged a little bit differently when it's known that they're going to miss a final the week after. But they had to fight it. So I think he originally got the 1 match ban, didn't he? And then they had to fight it. So, which, I mean,
he must have had Cripps' lawyer.
Yeah, absolutely, he must have. Well, I mean, all he would have had to have done was show the the Jeremy Cameron footage earlier in the year, eye gouging Marlon Pickett and getting nothing for it and saying, well, if he got off.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's,
I don't think he was going to miss for that.
No, I don't think he was going to, but that's another issue I think that the tribunal system has is when you're letting almost identical situations go earlier in the season or certain times of the year, let them go, and then you try and to suspend a player later in the season for the same thing. You're just leaving a window open for them to just pull up a piece of paper or some footage and go, mate, look at this right here. It's exactly the same.
Yep.
You've got no grounds. And I think that's where the consistency needs to come back. But in saying that, I did think that Berry was always going to get off, even without that sort of former incident happening. I think he was always going to get off coming into a final, and they're going to need him. He's going to be very important, especially if he plays like he did on the other night.
Yeah, and they'll get Joe Danaher back this week, who pulled out the last minute for the birth of his first child.
I'm pretty sure when the news came out that Joe Danaher had pulled out of the game, that's when most people go, nah, Melbourne have got this.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I knew I know a few Melbourne supporters that were very confident, not because of that, but just in general with how the season was going to end up. But once that happened as well, it's like, oh, well, here we go. His prelim week coming up.
Yep.
So that was, that was huge, massive. But do you think Brisbane almost played better without a tall and playing that smaller lineup? So you looked the week before when they lost McInerney in the first quarter. I think that almost helped them against the Tigers, losing McInerney, and they had that smaller lineup. And then this week, last minute, they lose Danaher and they play with that smaller forward line where you've really only got McStay and Hipwood and everyone else around them is small. And I think it's almost works better for them.
They were very quick.
Yeah, 100%. They were very fast. You have to play Danaher, obviously, if he comes back. But I feel like they almost play better without a tall on the side.
Maybe. Like Hipwood was very good. Even McStay played a pretty good game as well. So
Hipwood, the last few games, Hipwood have been outstanding, I think.
Yeah, well, he was very good last week in particular. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Big Joe back. But yeah, you got to play him.
Oh, 100%.
You have to play him.
You have to. You can't leave him out of the side.
What about the other semi-final? Pies, Dockers.
Well, it wasn't as enthralling, this one, from a neutral standpoint. It was a pretty one-sided affair for
90,000 though at the G.
Massive. I mean,
Huge.
It was always going to draw a big crowd like that. I think most people saw it coming, and the Pies have already sold out this week's final as well coming up. So they're well and truly out and about, the Collingwood supporters at the moment. I mean, they usually are. It's no surprise to see them doing what they're doing. But yeah, in terms of the game, it was, like I said, fairly one-sided. It was pretty comfortable for Collingwood the whole way through, but they just played with some intensity, and the ferocity that they brought really makes a lot of opposition fans nervous for what they may do going forward.
Yeah, they looked incredible. Like the way they play is outstanding, really. And like I've said it many times, like the stats just don't add up to a win for them, and it still is the story of the game. But the way they're playing, like they just 2 kicks, 3 kicks, they're down from defence to forward at rapid speed, and it's working for them, and it's exciting to watch from a neutral point of view. Anyway,
well, they've just got this ability to move the football so fast.
I think that's their asset. That's what is keeping them in this position and winning them games.
Oh, 100%.
Just their transition is just incredible.
That's it, and that is what's winning them games. And I think it's the ability to take the game on, especially when the game is close. They don't shy away from that style of footy. And I think that is what's up. Because most teams try to slow the momentum, slow the pace down when the games get tight. And I think that's why they're winning these close games.
Yeah.
Is because they're going, nah, let's take it on. And the other teams aren't prepared to.
Yeah. Just go straight through the middle, fastest route forward, and it pays off for them. So hats off to them. Like they've proved a lot of people wrong. They've certainly proved me wrong. I didn't think that it would stack up the way that they were playing all year. I thought they were getting pretty lucky with their wins, which I've said many times. But yeah, I mean, all credit to them. They're in a prelim.
Luck can only take you so far.
Yeah, they're in a prelim, and it wouldn't surprise me if they win this week as well. So good on them. Still don't like them, but mate, credit where credit's due.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, you can't take that away. But Freo, on the other hand, just a bit lackluster.
They started off pretty poor. I think they were a bit overawed by the occasion. Biggest crowd pretty much all those players would have played in front of.
Yeah, I mean, Nat Fyfe's not out there, and whether or not he's at his best, I guess he's just his aura. I guess makes a difference. I know if I played alongside someone like Nat Fyfe, you'd automatically walk a little bit taller, wouldn't you, with someone like him out there? So him not being there may have had an influence. Who knows? They really looked like they weren't up for the challenge at all.
Nah.
From like you said, early stages of the game.
Yeah, David Bundy's last game though, that was emotional at the end.
It was emotional, especially he's one of those players you you never really thought was going to retire because he just kept going and he didn't look like he needed to retire either. Like he still got it. Absolutely.
Yeah, he played well.
He did play well. And he always does. He's Mr. Consistent. You know what you're going to get from David Mundy every time. So sad to see him go, but he seemed to be enjoying his Mad Monday celebrations. I don't know if you saw those. I love that.
Was that one?
Yeah, and I had him on the shoulders and everyone was going nuts. He just seems
like a great guy.
Oh, 100%. You'll all get to experience that when we get him on the podcast one day, no doubt.
Past player.
Absolutely. We love a past player. Yeah. So, we'll try to get Mundy on. But no, that'd be, he seems like an absolutely fantastic bloke.
Yeah. All right, that is semi-finals done. Some other big news. We didn't touch on the AFL TV rights deal last week.
I think it went through from memory on the night of recording.
The day after.
The day after recording, I think it was. So yeah, there's a new broadcast deal, finally. Some big bucks coming the AFL's way.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the new broad? What do you want to outline? Do you understand it pretty thoroughly?
Yeah, I get it. So Fox Footy essentially going to have their own broadcast for every single game, which is great. Like it softens the impact of them keeping Channel 7 because I think a lot of people are fed up with Channel 7's coverage. Like it's pretty garbage. The people that they have on and just their production content in general, I think is pretty poor compared to what Fox Footy does. And I think if Paramount or someone like that got it, it would have done a better job. I think Channel 7 have just done their time now, and they've lost a lot of legendary figures like Bruce McAvaney, Dennis Cometti. Like once they left, it's gone to shit.
It's a bit like the Footy Show when it lost Gary Lyon and James Brayshaw and stuff like that.
It's just poor. Like the commentary on it's just we're always questioning what commentators say on Channel 7 coverage, don't we?
I think mostly BT,
like Luke Darcy sometimes. Like it's it's interesting.
The only consistent one out there is Richo.
Wayne Carey.
Oh, actually, we did speak about Wayne Carey,
didn't
we, last week? I was going to say we didn't touch on him, but we did.
Yeah. No, I thought it would have been nice to get someone else replace Channel 7.
Another free-to-air station.
Maybe like Paramount or like Paramount and Fox Footy or Paramount.
But Paramount then would have been another paid service.
But they're with Channel 10, so Channel 10 would have taken the free-to-air games like what Channel 7 does, and then their paid service would be
through Paramount
Plus.
Would that be instead of Foxtel or as well as Foxtel?
I think it would have been instead of Foxtel.
Yeah, see, I like that Foxtel's kept it.
Yeah, I like the Fox Footy aspect of it as well.
Yeah, so to be honest with you, I'm actually happy with this coverage now because the free-to-air, like for those that are watching free-to-air, it is what it is with 7. Hopefully they know now that they're going to lift their game because there's a lot of commentary around the fact that people weren't so happy with it. But then, like you said, Fox now has separate coverage for every game. So they're no longer using 7's coverage of the free-to-air games.
If you've got Fox, though, you're not watching the Channel 7 coverage, are you?
No, exactly right. So I'm not too disappointed with the deal.
It doesn't affect me too much either, yeah.
Yeah, well, I need to go on KO, actually. Yeah. Now I've moved out of home. I need to jump on KO.
3 years to do it. 2 years. When does it start? 2025?
Yeah, it's a couple of years away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got time to save up.
But a lot of money coming into the league, which maybe it's just me and every other Richmond supporter out there, but I hope it goes towards the ARC system and the cameras that we have to review goal footage because it is shit.
Yeah, they need it. Hopefully they put their money into that. Well, I think it's all going to Tassie, isn't it?
Well, a lot of it probably would, no doubt. Well, did you speaking of the ARC and all that, did you hear the news that came out about it today?
What?
That they're now talking about bringing in a new rule where if the umpire isn't really 100%, he just says, I don't know. And that way there's no umpire's call to overturn.
The Tom Lynch rule.
So, I don't know. I'm smelling guilty conscience from the AFL. That's all this screams to me. You bring in a new rule after a big controversy that directly affects what would have happened then. It screams guilty conscience.
Maybe this is their way of saying we got it wrong.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah. Instead of just showing us the footage they allegedly have, which they still haven't done. Damien Hardwick got brought in. He did the little tour around the arcs for all the systems, but there's no word of him seeing.
He actually got.
Apparently, he went through. I think he's actually been brought through, but there's still no definitive decision.
To check the footage?
Or they wanted to show him around the arc and show him and all, but there's no word on what footage was shown and whether or not there was any definitive footage because there's not, and we know everyone knows that. Yeah. Any sane person knows that doesn't exist, but that's not the point. I don't know if I like that. The umpire doesn't have a call. What's the point of him or her being there if they don't know?
Yeah.
It's your job. I don't mind the way it is now where if they go, look, I do believe it's a goal, but I just want to check. No issue with that. but we have to get the technology better. Otherwise, let's just leave it with the umpires purely and have no review system.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me being salty still,
I don't
but
know. It's a tough one.
I don't like the idea of the umpire going, nah, not sure. Because they're not really going to care.
They're going to say that a lot then.
That's what I mean.
Like
they're not going to care.
Easy way out.
How many goals now do we have to, especially when you're there and you have to sit there and you watch the umpire go, score review, umpire believes it was a goal, and you can sit there and wait for 5 minutes what the other team sets up. If the umpire knows he doesn't have to make a call, he's just going to not give a shit.
Yeah, it's true.
So I don't like that.
Yeah, as soon as they have a moment of doubt, they're going to be like, "Oh, I'm not sure."
Yeah,
That's just going to that's going to get that excuse will get used so often.
and then we're going to have to watch twice as many goal reviews, and no one wants to see that. You want to speed the game up? Let's limit goal reviews. All right, so either get the technology better, and let's just leave it with the umpires making their own decision. I think that's the best way, and that's their job at the end of the day.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about some trade news that's been floating around.
Absolutely. And sorry, Richmond fans, not Taranto and Hopper.
No,
that was last
spoke
week.
about that last week, but this week, Junior Rioli.
Absolutely. For those who haven't switched on, Junior Rioli is Willie Rioli.
Yeah.
Who's at the moment being referred to as Junior Rioli, but
Must have got a Port.
which I mean, they were the rumours that he wanted to go to Port Adelaide, and it's not entirely surprising from a media aspect because, like I said, there were the rumours swirling around, but disappointing from a West Coast point of view. We stood by him during the whole drug saga he went through personally with, I think it was weed they found on him.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and they stood by him. I think he spent it a year. He missed a football. He didn't play for a season.
Yeah, I think it was longer than that.
What, was it 2 years?
I think it was 2 years.
Yeah, we didn't play for a very extended period of time, and they stuck by him. They could have easily delisted him, but they didn't. He comes back, plays one season, and then says, "Nope, see you later."
Yeah, it's a bit poor from him, but I'm sure he's got his reasons. I think it's his family reasons.
Oh, look, yeah, there's always reasons, but I mean, there's also you get a bit of gratitude that you think would have to be involved in a decision like this, don't you?
You'd think so, but who knows?
Even if you signed on for another year or another year and just said, "Look, I do want to go home, but I want to thank I appreciate what's been done for me." You wouldn't have a career if West Coast didn't stick by him.
It's true.
So I don't know. I think it's disappointing. I mean, I'm all for players having the right to play and go where they want to go. I think that's fine. If you don't feel like you belong in a city or at a club and you want to move, then go ahead. But I think also you got to pay a bit of respect to the club that's done that much for you. So yeah, I think loyalty is definitely starting to die a little bit in footy.
Well, what about second, third year players wanting to leave and
Luke Jackson
chase the cash?
Well, here's a question. Do you think if Luke Jackson didn't win a flag last year, he'd be asking to move?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's still going.
I heard the question raised a little bit saying like, oh, now he's won a flag. Is he just happy to go wherever? Like, is he not premiership hunting anymore, if that makes sense? Like, he knows Melbourne are in that window. I mean, Freo arguably still are as well. And if he goes there, geez.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still think he would have gone regardless. He seems pretty adamant in going home. But yeah, second.
And the figures that are getting thrown around, like, how do you say no to that?
Yeah, I also think a bit much.
Oh, way too much. It's over.
A bit ridiculous. Like, first of all, he's a ruckman, which always a dangerous prospect.
He'll be second ruck at Freo.
Well, again,
Sean Darcy will be number one ruck.
Has to be, doesn't he?
Yeah. So
because Sean Darcy is more of a pure ruckman.
Yeah.
Than Luke Jackson is. Luke Jackson can go
He'll probably play forward.
Too, but yeah. Which they probably need to keep forward.
Because Lob's going to leave.
Lob seems like he's going to go. You're right. Yeah. So I don't know. I think he's definitely getting paid overs if the numbers that are getting thrown around, end up being what he gets paid. But I don't know as well. Yeah, second or third year player already on the move. I don't know. It's hard to say until you're in that situation. I've never had to move away from home for that long and a family, so I'm not sure what it would be like. But I feel like for the money that he'd be earning, it could compensate a little bit.
Yeah, I mean those figures are just ridiculous. But good on him. I'd take it if I was him as well.
Oh, mate, how old are you? 20, 21?
21, I think, 22.
Yeah, if I was his age and I was getting offered that money, I'd be moving too.
Absolutely.
So,
anyway, they're a couple of trade news that have been happening. So they're both officially requested trades out. So we'll watch to see how that plays out over the next few weeks.
I think Tanner Braun was another one as well.
Yes,
by the way.
He wants to go to Geelong.
Yes, well, Geelong missed their other Giants man and Hopper.
Yep.
Well, not technically yet, but lost interest.
Be careful what you say.
That's why I said not technically yet. There's still a chance to get him. But yeah, he's nominated Richmond Hopper. But now Tanner Braun has come out and nominated Geelong as his preferred destination. And I haven't heard much coming the other way, whether or not Geelong are interested in Tanner Braun. I'm not saying they're not. I just haven't really heard a lot.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know too much about Tanner Braun, to be honest. Braun?
I think it's Bruin probably. I like.
Not sure. Anyway,
Scooter Braun. I'm thinking of
Scooter
Braun. Tanner Bruin. Yeah, you're right. I haven't heard much coming the other way from Geelong's point of view, but he's nominated. Geelong is his destination of choice.
And hopefully Blake Acres nominates the Blues in the next few days as well.
Another one in the rumour mill.
Talk about that happening. I heard today that we're going to use the compensation pick that we get from Liam Jones to use that as part of the deal.
Well, it could be a handy one.
I think that
it was an unexpected pick you probably weren't expecting to have, so why not just throw it in the mix?
Exactly. So
if he's interested in coming, he'd be a big get.
Well, he was close to best on ground on Saturday night in the semi-final. He was definitely Freo's best player.
Probably kept the minute.
Yeah, so I think he'd be great. Exactly what we need. Someone to play on the wing there and mature body. So it's gonna be good. See how that plays out as well. Well, we mentioned the Queen from the top, but she's also doing more damage. She's moved the Brownlow.
Talk about profound impact.
She's moved the Brownlow from our usual Monday till Sunday.
I do not know how I feel about this, although
it had to be done.
The Monday public holiday would have been way better.
Yeah, but
with the Brownlow on the Sunday,
they're not going to clash the Queen's funeral coverage with the
No.
Brownlow.
But you keep it on the Sunday, the Brownlow. You move it to the Sunday, but you have the public holiday on the Monday.
Yeah.
So you can have a big Brownlow night and recover all day Monday.
It's true. Do you usually have a big Brownlow night?
No, but it's normally on a Monday night.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It was Sunday, year before it was 2020 it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
COVID year.
I don't remember that, but there you go.
It was your grand final week, mate.
No, I was too busy focusing on other things, mate. Not Lockie Neal winning the Brownlow, but
well, yeah, we will do a big Brownlow preview next week, though.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Whip the old suit and tie back out.
Big things planned, so keep an eye out for that. We'll obviously do some predictions and, figure out which one of us reckons Paddy Cripps will win it. I'm sure we all know which one. Definitely.
If the season ended at round 5, maybe.
Yeah. Well, you still think Shane Edwards would win it, so
when have I ever
settle down.
When have I ever said that? It's Jaden Shaw.
That's one of them.
Exactly right. One of the two is going to get up for sure. He's going to be up there in the polling. But yeah, no, it's going to be a big episode next week. Really looking forward to that. But it is massive news, that the Brownlow's been shifted to Sunday night.
Yeah.
I wonder what impact this has on the preparation of the players. Is it back in Melbourne as well, I'm guessing, this
Sunday
week?
night. That is this week. Jeez.
Yeah, it's coming
My
up real
God,
quick.
it really has crept up. I was trying, it's the week up? No, it's this weekend.
Yeah, jeez.
It is. Yeah, because it's prelim final weekend. Yeah.
Scary.
Which we will talk about now.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, like speaking of prelim finals, there's a few.
Unless
There's two big ones.
Did you have any more to say about the Queen, or that's enough?
Well, I have a lot to say about the Queen, actually, but you have to catch that on my my Royals podcast. So I'll talk about the monarchy and what they mean to us as Australians. So you can jump over to there later. But for now, we'll talk about the prelims.
The prelims, all right. Prelim final weekend, the most pure weekend of footy, according to some.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I'm not too sure. But yeah, Friday night we've got Geelong and Brisbane at the MCG. Very much looking forward to this. It's going to be a ripper, especially if the Lions can get up.
Which I'm really hoping they do. It's almost a bit like last week, isn't it? Where it was Melbourne, Brisbane, and Melbourne were the heavy favourites, and you just thought, oh well, not much to see here. But I think with what we've seen from Brisbane, the odds don't suggest it on Sportsbet at the moment. But I really think Brisbane can give Geelong a really good shake if they play their best footy. But in saying that, if Geelong play their best footy as well, that no one really stops them, I don't think. So it's going to be tough either way. Being at the G, you have to go Geelong, I think. But I'm not counting Brisbane out by any means.
No, definitely not. I think Geelong are definitely gettable, especially at the MCG, and the way Brisbane played last week. I think that can really expose them with their pace and their star power as well. And that, bring back Joe Danaher, they're going to have a pretty dangerous forward line. So I'm not going to tip Brisbane, but geez, it would not surprise me if they get up.
Oh no, it'll be very tight.
So what did you tip in Geelong? What's your margin?
I'm tipping Geelong. We'll say
best player as well.
Geelong by 13 points. It'll be close. And best player, I think Tom Stewart.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, I think if Brisbane's forwards are pumping like I think they will, I reckon Tom Stewart in the back line could be a force to be reckoned with.
Day.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Tom Stewart.
Yep. I think Geelong by 7. I think it's going to be a real tight one. And player of the match, it's hard to go past Jezza Cameron.
Yeah, he was my go-to, and then I changed it last minute. But yeah, Jezza's a good one. He's been dominating, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's the man for the occasion, loves a big game. So, yeah, no, that's going to be good Friday night footy. And I think I may have had an invitation to watch it with you at your new pad, potentially.
Yes, but it is BYO chair.
Yes.
So you
I might just bring this one that I'm sitting on now.
You can bring that, take that into mind. More than welcome to come watch it at my joint. I've got the, I didn't mention this actually, but for the first time in my life, I've got the TV and I've got a sound bar and subwoofer. So the sound of the footy is going to be unbelievable. We know a few boys like that. But the sound is going to be unbelievable. So it's
great.
Yeah, can't wait to have you over.
Beautiful. We had BT flying on the commentary, nice and loud.
No, we'll be watching on Fox. Oh no,
you can't yet. No, not for another
not
3
yet.
years.
Jeez, I'm getting ahead of myself. Fucking BT. We'll get him on the pod day one day as well.
All right, the other prelim, we got Sydney and Collingwood Saturday twilight at the SCG.
I hope you're not trying to fly there.
I was just about to say, have you seen the airfares there?
A grand return, isn't it? To Sydney, which one are we going? Hey, that is
Sucked in.
ridiculous. I mean, look, if I looked up and I saw a flight for $1,000, and a lot of people are doing this, I'm not, an innovator here, but I'm hopping straight in my car and driving to Sydney.
Yeah, you're driving. Definitely.
There's no chance.
No way.
There's no chance you're spending a grand.
A grand? Hey, it's like 1,600, 1,700 return.
Oh, return? I thought it was a grand return.
No, it's like 1,600.
Oh, jeez.
It's worse.
Well, way worse.
You're not doing that. No way.
No. Yeah.
You're driving. It's not even that far of a drive anyway.
No way. To watch your team in a prelim, you drive that.
Yeah.
100%. You don't question that. You get up there and you make the journey, and if anything, it makes it more special, the drive too.
There's a lot of Collingwood fans have cars though. Sorry, that's a good one joke. One joke today.
I was going to say, Centrelink have minibuses, don't they? They can drive up and down.
Okay.
Oh, that's it. That's out of the system.
I'm scared for our safety now.
Yeah, it's out of the system. No, they're all on the bus, mate. They're all on the way up to Sydney. We're good for the weekend. But yeah, no, it's going to be an absolute packed house. And the last game Collingwood lost was at this same venue, I believe, against the Swans.
So Sydney are the only team to beat Collingwood, apart from Geelong in the finals, over the last 13, 14 weeks.
Jeez.
So it's history is against Collingwood here, but I'm almost tempted to tip him, to be honest.
It's just nothing would surprise me anymore.
Nah.
But I think maybe with the week off, a lot of people forgetting how good Sydney were against Melbourne.
Good, but then we also saw what Melbourne did last week. And does that take the gloss off Sydney a little bit?
Not necessarily, because I think the style of footy that Sydney played really stacks up.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're no good, but
yeah, and I know what you're getting at.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, look, I think it could go either way. I mean,
it's going to be a great game.
Sydney did what they did against the D's, and Buddy Franklin barely got a touch of the footy. If Buddy Franklin gets a good sniff, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
He could have a fantastic game. So I'm tipping Sydney purely because, one, I want Sydney to win the grand final this year. And two, I just think the home ground advantage might just get them over the line. But Collingwood are coming in red hot at the moment, and it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if they got the win.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go Swans. I think Swans by 4 points.
I think if it gets close, Collingwood win.
Geelong beat them in a close one the other week.
Nah, that's true. That's true.
Maybe in finals they lose the close ones, hopefully.
Who's your best player?
Luke Parker.
Yeah. Finals built. Finals built Luke Parker.
Loves it.
Well, I'm going Sydney by 20. A little bit more. Best player, Scott Pendlebury.
In a losing game.
In a losing game.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If anyone was going to do it.
He was very good last week. It was great.
And he's been in this stage multiple times. He knows how to play finals footy, and he's just so composed. I love watching Pendlebury play football. So, yeah, for me, he'll be my BOG.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Prelim weekend. It's a great weekend. This time next week we'll know who will be facing off in the grand final.
I can't believe that.
Original time slot at the MCG, 2:30 next Saturday.
Where it belongs, if you ask me.
Where it belongs, it's going to be good. First Melbourne grand final in 2 years, 3 years Yeah, 3 years. Shit.
3 years.
Yeah.
2019 was the last one.
Yes, we all know that, Glenn.
Do you need a reminder of who won that one? It's
Well, only one team showed up that game, so hopefully it's a lot better game than the last one.
Well, yeah, you'd hope so. You'd hope it's a lot closer than an 84.89, 84.89. I can't remember what it's a big win. You'd hope it's a close margin for sure, grand final week. But it scares me to think that in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, we have no footy.
Done. It's trade time.
That's it, which is exciting in itself, but it's not the same.
It's not the
You
same.
want to watch games of footy, so
It's not the same.
it's
But
scary to think that's going to be.
as I was
coming
telling
around
you the other
corner.
week, it's good to have a bit of a break and have an outlet over summer. Get into other sports.
You did tell me that, and I've tried to dip into the Premier League a little bit. I've always had a loose follow for the Chelsea Football Club, and I've tried to jump on over the weekend, and the Queen had to cark it, and all the games have been postponed.
The Queen is causing absolute carnage.
Got no football to watch. So then I see that the American football has been taken over. The games came back. Was it like a few days ago? About a week ago?
Yeah, started on the weekend.
Started on the weekend. So NFL is back.
It's back. It's
I
huge.
thought I am loosely a Steelers fan. So I thought I'll jump on this.
Very loosely
a Steelers fan. I don't really understand the game. I thought, I'm going to jump on, learn a new sport, follow someone. They wear the yellow and black, so why not get around them? And then, sure enough, I realised I don't have any way to watch them at the moment because I don't have KO or Foxtel. So I got to jump on that now so I can get going.
Yeah, that's good. Watch a game with me, and I'll teach you. It's a bloody good sport. Once you learn the rules, it's very entertaining to watch, and the theatre of it is great. And obviously, the American athletes, the character, personality that they have, it's very good.
Well, as we had a rude interruption here,
The marketing manager just walking,
just waltzing in. I think she forgets it's not her house anymore. She just walks in any room she feels like. I'm startled by that.
Anyway,
what I was trying to say was, I noticed on the NFL social media some of the individual clubs having jabs at other teams. I absolutely loved it.
It's good.
I follow the Steelers, and I saw them having digs at the Cubs or the Bears. I don't know what they're called. I think Cubs is baseball.
Cubs
isn't
is
it?
baseball.
I'm not a big American sports fan.
Yeah, the Steelers.
I like my basketball.
The Bears,
but
Chicago Bears.
Yeah. I'm having digs at the Bears. I loved it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's what I love about it. I love the banter, the theatre of it, drama. It's great. And then obviously you got, players like Tom Brady who been playing for 50 years. Like he's
out of retirement.
He's arguably still the best player in it. Like he's a freak. So it's just so many stories, and it's great.
Oh, it's fan. Yeah, look, especially when it comes around Super Bowl time, when every bandwagon fan starts to watch, you get a sense of it.
Yeah.
So I am excited to jump on board at least until the NBA season starts back up, and I can go back to something I know.
Yeah. Well, it was this time 12 months ago where I got into the NFL and haven't looked back since. So maybe you might be like me and just love it. So you might.
Maybe.
Don't worry about the NBA.
No, it's too late for that.
All right. Well, shall we wrap up?
Absolutely.
I think the marketing manager probably wants us or wants this room back or something. So
yeah, someone's trying to get in here for whatever reason. So we'll call it quits for this episode.
But we'll chat next week after the prelims. Enjoy the round, enjoy the Brownlow, and we'll have some good content for you next week.